It begins quietly, so quietly that no one realizes a story is already being written. You're 7 years old looking up at a parent who is unraveling in front of you. Maybe it's the fog of addiction. Maybe it's a temper that erupts without warning. Maybe it's the heavy, wordless exhaustion of someone who can't carry their own life, let alone yours. And in that tiny moment, something ancient and instinctive snaps into place. If I don't hold everything together, no one will. This is how a child disappears, not from the world, but from themselves. They start smiling a little too easily, crying a little too rarely. They scan the mood of every room before daring to speak. They shrink their own needs so the house can stay steady. They become the emotional anchor of a family long before they ever learn multiplication tables. And the world applauds them for it. You're so mature. You're so responsible. You're so strong. But no one asks the question that matters. What did it cost you to become all of that so young? This is the silent grief of children who were forced to grow up before their time. Those early roles don't fade when you turn 18. They follow you into your relationships, into your career, into the way you measure your worth. And unless you understand what happened, you'll keep replaying the same survival strategies that once protected you, but are now slowly suffocating you. So let's begin with the truth most people never learn. What was actually happening inside a developing child's mind? When children are forced to emotionally support adults instead of the other way around, psychologists call it parentification. It's when a child becomes the caregiver, the peacekeeper, the therapist, the protector. This isn't just emotionally taxing, it actually rewires the brain. When a child is repeatedly put in charge of regulating emotions, whether their own or others, it creates a state called hypervigilance. You're always scanning for danger, walking on eggshells, learning that love is a transaction. You give peace, and maybe they'll give you safety in return. You internalize the lesson that your needs are risky and theirs are urgent. So you disappear, not physically, but emotionally. In your place, a version of yourself grows up performing flawlessly. You become the good child, the quiet achiever, the friend who listens without complaint, the one who never asks for anything. And you wear that identity so convincingly that even you forget it's a mask. But underneath it all, something aches. The inner child you buried didn't vanish. They're still in there, screaming silently, "Why didn't anyone protect me?" As you move through life, the effects compound. You may become hyper-independent, refusing help or pushing people away. You might never feel fully safe in love, always bracing for disappointment, always carrying the weight of a child who had to grow up too fast. You might feel numb during moments that should feel joyful, because happiness feels unfamiliar, unearned, even dangerous. Rest can feel impossible, because productivity is the only currency you've ever known to prove your worth. And worst of all, you may not even realize you're still trapped in survival mode. When dysfunction becomes normal early in life, your nervous system accepts chaos as the baseline. Stillness feels wrong, peace feels suspicious, and love can feel like a debt you'll have to repay. This is the psychology of a child forced to grow up too fast. It isn't just sadness. It's a complex trauma that reshapes how you see the world, and more importantly, how you see yourself. You might wonder why any child would willingly take on such a burden. The truth is, they don't choose consciously. Children will do anything for attachment, even abandon themselves. It's biological. In the absence of safety, the child sacrifices authenticity for belonging. That's not weakness, it's intelligence. It's instinct. And yet the tragedy is clear. What once saved you now imprisons you. So many of us walk through life as high-functioning adults while our neglected inner children silently pull the strings. We overachieve to earn love. We stay silent to avoid abandonment. We spend our lives taking care of everyone else, while secretly wishing someone would notice us, asking, "Are you really okay?" That quiet hope that someone might see through the mask, that maybe, just maybe, you could finally fall apart and be held. That is the unmet need, not of your adult self, but of the child who never got to be a child. The first step toward healing isn't fixing, it's witnessing. Until you honor what happened, you'll keep gaslighting yourself with thoughts like, "It wasn't that bad. Others had it worse. I turned out fine." But fine is a mask too, and deep down, you know it. So what becomes of that child when they grow up? They become adults who never feel safe, even in quiet, calm rooms. They become lovers who struggle to trust softness, givers who can't receive. They are the ones who apologize for crying, flinch at compliments, and mistake exhaustion for achievement. This is the cost of growing up too fast. When childhood trains you to be strong at the expense of softness, to stay quiet instead of being honest, to fix others while ignoring your own fractures, the adulthood you inherit is a life spent holding your breath, waiting for permission to finally let go. But here's the truth. No one is coming to rescue the child you buried. You are the one who has to go back and take that child's hand. You are the one who must finally speak the words no one else ever offered. You didn't deserve any of that. You were just a child. You're allowed to rest now. This is where shadow work begins, not with fixing, performing, or drowning the pain in empty positivity, but by turning toward the abandoned pieces of yourself and saying, I see you, I hear you, and I'm not leaving you again. This is the repair, and it's brutal because it forces you to feel the grief you never had time to feel. It asks you to sit with the rage, the sorrow, the unmet needs, to cry for the birthdays where no one showed up, to mourn the innocence you surrendered while protecting people who should have been protecting you. But that grief isn't weakness. It's evidence of healing. It means what was once frozen is finally beginning to thaw. Now let's explore how these childhood survival patterns quietly seep into adulthood. Subtle, tragic, and often invisible. You might become the therapist in every friendship, but never let anyone truly see you. You might be praised for your independence while secretly fearing that relying on someone makes you a burden. You might find yourself in relationships where you overfunction, fixing, managing, explaining, then wondering why you feel exhausted and resentful. You might struggle with boundaries because saying no still feels like betrayal. These aren't personality traits. They're coping mechanisms, learned, conditioned, and thankfully, unlearned with awareness. But the shift only begins when you stop idolizing your strength and start honoring the wounds that shaped it. One of the most powerful things you can do is turn inward and ask your inner child, what did I need back then that I never received? The answers may come slowly, softly, almost in whispers. I needed someone to tell me it wasn't my fault. I needed someone to ask how I was doing. I needed to play, to rest, to laugh without fear. And step by step, very slowly, you begin to give yourself those things. Not to rewrite the past, but to stop endlessly reliving it. This is how you stop seeking parental care in your partners. This is how you stop confusing anxiety for intuition. This is how you stop running from the child you once were and the self you are becoming. Carl Jung said, there is no coming to consciousness without pain. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. Shadow work asks you to face it all, the neglected, the ashamed, the scared, the angry. Because true healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. So if you're someone who had to grow up too fast, hear this. Your maturity was never the problem. The problem was that you never had a choice. But now you do. You can choose softness. You can choose rest. You can choose to stop carrying everyone else's emotions and start honoring your own. And no, it won't happen overnight. There will be days when you feel like that small, scared child again. And that's good. That's the point. Let that child come home. Let them cry. Let them play. Let them finally be seen. Because you are not broken. You are becoming whole. And maybe for the first time, you are growing up the right way. Not through pressure, not through fear, but through truth. You may have missed your childhood, but your future is still unwritten. And this time you get to write it.